The first fishermen had no rod, no reel, and no boat with an engine. They had sharp sticks, clever hands, and fire. Yet they pulled fish from rivers and shores millions of years before anyone wrote a single word. This is how ancient humans caught dinner from the water, what was actually swimming down there, and how they turned it into a meal. Part 1. The first catch. Humans have always lived near water. A river meant drinking, yes, but it also meant food that swam right up within reach. You did not need to outrun a mammoth when a fat fish sat in the shallows. The evidence pushes fishing back shockingly far. At a site in Israel called Jesher Benat Yaakov, archaeologists found charred catfish and carp bones burned roughly 780,000 years ago. Someone had cooked those fish over a fire. That is some of the earliest solid proof that ancient humans were not just eating fish, they were cooking it. Even earlier, cut marks scratched onto fish bones hint that hominins were already filleting their catch long before that. And here is why it mattered so much. Fish are easy protein, and they are loaded with the omega-3 fats that helped fuel the growth of the human brain, the same brain story we keep telling about meat and cooked food. A river was a free pantry that refilled itself. Where big game meant risk and luck, a river meant a meal you could almost count on, which is exactly why our ancestors kept coming back to the water's edge. This was not a coastal secret either. The same genius applied at every stream, lake, and estuary our ancestors met. Where there was water, there was dinner, and where there was dinner, humans figured out how to take it. Part 2. What was in the river? The rivers of the ancient world were nothing like today. No factories, no dams, no polluted runoff. They teemed, giant catfish lurking in the mud, carp in the slow bends, salmon fighting their way upstream to spawn, eels sliding through the reeds, sturgeon, those armored river monsters, and trout in the cold, quick streams. These were not the thin farmed fish of a modern supermarket. They were wild, fatty, and abundant, often far larger than anything we catch now. A single salmon run could mean weeks of food for a whole band if they were smart enough to save it. Coastal groups, of course, took shellfish and crabs too, but the heart of the story is the river, and the river was generous. And the calendar helped. Fish run on seasons. Spawning runs packed the shallows so thickly that a well-placed net or spear could fill a day's need in minutes. Ancient fishers read those seasons the way we read a clock, knowing exactly when the river would give its most. Part 3. How they caught them. So how do you catch a fish with no gear store in sight? You get creative. The simplest method was the spear, a wooden shaft with a fire-hardened or sharpened tip, sometimes with multiple prongs called a leister for pinning fish in shallow water. You wade in, or you wait at the edge and you strike. Then there was the hand catch. In a shallow stream, you could dam off a section, stir the mud to stun the fish, and simply grab them. Children were probably very good at this. Communities built weirs, fences of wood and stone stretched across a stream, funneling fish into a basket or a pool where they were easy to take. This same trick is still used by traditional fishers today. Nets came next, woven from plant fiber and weighted with carved stone sinkers, some of the most common ancient finds we have. And the real turning point was the hook. Tiny curved bits of bone, antler, or shell, tied to a line of plant fiber or animal sinew. The earliest known fish hooks come from places like Okinawa and East Timor. Some made more than 40,000 years ago, and they were catching open-water fish like tuna. That is not beginner fishing. That is mastery. In East Timor's Jaramalai Cave, archaeologists pulled tuna bones from layers 40,000 years old alongside those tiny shell hooks, proof that people were not just dipping lines in the shallows, but sailing out and landing fish bigger than themselves. In South Africa, sites like Blombos show early humans working bone and shaping tools with a precision that fishing demands. Every one of these finds replaces the old cartoon of the clumsy caveman with something closer to a skilled technician of the stream. There were clever tricks too. Crushing certain plants into a pool could stun the fish so they floated up, a method still used in parts of Africa and the Amazon. At night, a torch held over the water drew fish to the light, where a spear finished the job. And where the water was deep, people built rafts and dugout boats, paddling out to where the big ones swam. Part 4. Did they eat it? And how almost always, once humans controlled fire, the fish was cooked. Fish is the easiest animal to cook, it softens fast. You could skewer a fillet on a stick and hold it over the flames, or lay it on hot stones, or bury it in embers. That simple act of grilling over a fire, the same thing you might do at a backyard barbecue, was probably happening hundreds of thousands of years ago. The first grill was a stick and a river. Without pots, they roasted rather than boiled, though later they learned to boil by dropping hot stones into a container of skin or wood. And they were not wasteful. They ate the whole fish, bones and all, every bit of nutrition counted. When the catch was huge, they preserved it. Drying, smoking over a slow fire. Curing in the sun, these turned a salmon run into winter food. Some groups even fermented fish, a distant ancestor of the fish sauces later empires would love. Raw fish was eaten too, by some peoples, then as now, but cooking was safer and easier on the stomach. Part 5. Why IT mattered fishing changed human life. It was reliable protein that did not require the danger of a big game hunt. A skilled group could feed itself from a river without risking everything on a single spear thrust at a beast 10 times their weight. That steady food let people settle longer near water, supporting larger groups, a quiet step toward the first villages. The timeline runs deep. Occasional fishing perhaps 2 million years back, systematic by the time of Homo erectus, refined by Neanderthals and early modern humans, and only recently turned into an industry. The rods and reels in your garage are brand new. The urge behind them is older than poetry. Think about that the next time a fish slips off your hook. Some ancestor of yours, 100,000 years gone, felt the exact same tug, the exact same laugh, and walked home with dinner. We did not invent fishing. We inherited it, one river at a time. So the next time you cast a line into a river, remember you are repeating one of the oldest human acts on record. The equipment got fancy. The hunger and the cleverness did not change at all.